Namaste everyone. Very often I think about my childhood days. Actually, when I was a schoolboy, we were living on the banks of river Periyar. River Periyar in Kerala, you may be knowing, is a perennial river. Throughout the year, water will be there in the river. So we used to enjoy a lot. Same like these boys. We used to jump to the river. Finally, father has to come with a stick. Then only we will come out of the river. Eyes and all will become reddish. And after playing in the river, we had several games also to play in the river. Like you run and touch and all. No? Same like that, we used to play in the water, in the river. And after that, we would go to the mango garden, pluck the mangoes. So whenever I think about those days, I always cherish my childhood days, nostalgic feelings. Great to hear those days. We really enjoyed. Never we thought about the examination. Frankly speaking, I used to study only on the previous day of examination. I used to read only on the previous day of examination, even for my class 10 board exam. Even for my class 10 board exam, only previous day. Daily reading, daily homework, or daily assignments, these were all not at all there during those days. So those childhood memories are really great. I used to feel that those days were the best part of my life. So evening and all, our house will be, the front hall will be crowded with the people. All neighbors would come. Together we would watch the movie or news item or something like that. All neighbors used to come to my house to watch the TV those days. I still remember. The social contacts were very, very strong. And as ma'am said, my father never asked me to study. Till my post-graduation, my father, not even once he told me, you take the book and study. He used to have a philosophical thought also behind it. He used to tell, if you push or force somebody to climb a tree, once you take your hands away, that fellow will fall down. So if he wants to climb the tree, let him climb by himself. We need not force. So this is what my father, he was an uneducated person, but a very philosophical way he used to speak actually. So we had really enjoyable childhood days. Am I right? Actually, this picture on the screen, I can find myself in the picture because I used to do the same thing. Jumping into the river. Actually, instead of that wooden bridge, we had a tree, a slanting tree towards the river. We used to run on the tree and jump into the middle of the river. So we had beautiful childhood days. Now you think about your own students. After some 10 years, when your students look back, do you think that they will have good memories about their childhood?
No, sir.
Definitely not.
Definitely, their childhood memories will not be as sweet as ours. Because we really know that the children of modern days are undergoing tremendous pressure, tension, and the classrooms become really a nightmare for them. They are reluctant to come to school. If holiday is declared, they celebrate it like anything. But our day, we used to feel unhappy that we cannot see our day children are not like that. That's what, after some 10 or 15 years, when they look back into their childhood days, really, they would feel that they lost their childhood. The most beautiful part of human life. Are we not responsible for that? Are we teachers not responsible for that? At least to a certain percentage. What is your opinion?
We are, sir. We are, sir.
We are also a part and parcel of the team which makes their childhoods miserable. Parents are there, society is there. Along with that, we teachers also play a role in spoiling the childhood of our children. Exam fear, homework deadline, assignments, peer pressure,
Project work.
parental pressure, project work, lot of tension, stress, and classrooms become boring. Some children will be sleeping in the class. Okay, so we are also responsible for that. But I do agree that it is not possible for us to go back to the past. That freedom which we enjoyed, we cannot give back to our students because the society has changed. Society's perception about education has changed. Parents' attitude has changed. So now we cannot go back to the olden days. Now even my son, if he says he wants to go to river to take bath, I used to discourage him. I used to tell them it is not safe, you don't go. But my childhood days, you know, along with the walking, I learned swimming because the house was very close to the river. But when my son asked to go to the river, I am having tension as a father. My parents didn't have such a tension at all. So it is not possible to go back to the past. But at least something we can do so that children will enjoy our classes and our classes will become happy classrooms. So that is what we are going to discuss. I do strongly agree that we cannot bring back the past glory. I am telling past cannot be brought back. But within our limitations, within our situations, within the present situation, what can we do to make our classroom interesting? To make the teaching learning process child-centered, effective, and enjoyable. Along with the learning, at least some kind of enjoyment we should give so that some years when they look back, some memories. The teachers who give them such good memories, you know, so we will live forever in the minds of our students. So that is what we are going to discuss today. So what is actually a happy classroom? So that is what we have to discuss. The first ones, the students are stress-free. Don't give too much tension and stress to the students. Make them feel free. We will discuss what can be done for that. So in a happy classroom, the students will be stress-free, tension-free. They will feel safe. Physical, social, and emotional security will exist. They should feel valued. Now, you know, every student is an individual. Like we people, they too have that dignity. So they too feel that they are also important members of the society. So they should feel valued. They should not be humiliated or insulted. The days have changed. You know, our days, if a teacher scolded us in the class in front of others, we never felt that it was an insult. We thought that it is teachers' right to scold us, same like parents. But today's children are different. If you scold them in the class, they feel insulted, they feel humiliated. They feel that they are hurt. Some parents used to come and say, instead of scolding in the class, the teacher could have called my son or my daughter outside and scolded. In front of all others, my child got insulted. So a happy classroom, the child is not humiliated or insulted. They feel successful. That sense of achievement should be there. They actively participate in teaching learning process. It should not be a one-sided affair. It should not be a teacher-centered learning. It should be child should also play an equal role in the teaching learning process, and they develop positive relationship, the peer relationships, relationship with the teacher, relationship with the other people who are connected with the school. So such a classroom can be called a happy classroom. Do you want me to add anything more to this? Your idea about a happy classroom? Anything more to this? Students are without stress and tension. Students feel that they are safe physically, socially, and emotionally. Very, very important. Students should feel that they are valued, they are given a respect, they are not humiliated. Students feel that they are successful, they gain something, they achieve something. They too actively participate in teaching learning process. They develop good relationships, positive relationships. Dear teachers, do you want to add anything more to a happy classroom?
Sir, they should be free to speak whatever is in their mind.
Yeah, sure. That freedom of speech and expression should be given to them. Correct. Actually, some students, even their problems, they don't speak to the teachers. The reason they don't trust the teacher. We fail to gain their strength, trust. It's our failure actually. The moment they trust us, even their personal problems, they would be sharing with us. So our idea is that social science classroom should become a happy classroom. All these features, students should be stress-free. They should feel that they are safe. For that, they should trust the teacher. Nowadays, that is also important. We come across several harassment cases, emotional harassment, physical harassment, social insult. So different parts of the country, such cases are reported. Even some teachers are in jail. Okay. So students should feel safe. So that the trust has to be developed. They should feel that they are valued and they are not humiliated. They should feel that they are successful and they should actively participate, positive relationships. And as teachers have said, they should have the freedom to speak or express their views, their ideas openly, and they should share their experiences, even their personal life experiences in the class. So such a class is every teacher's dream. Am I right? You just think about such a class. And even we teachers will enjoy. So what should we do in order to build such a class? First thing, we have to enter the class with a free mind, without tension, without stress. If we are in tension and stress, naturally we cannot have a happy classroom at all. So teacher has to be tension free. Teacher has to be stress free. Teacher should be with an open mind. So let's now discuss. Yes, ma'am.
With a smiley face also.
Yeah, we should enter the class with a smiling face. That positivity, that positive energy, children should find on our face, on our body language. See, if you are having any issues in the family, of course, family issues will be there. Nobody is free from that. We should leave everything outside the school gate. No. See, I'm coming from my home. Sometimes I may have some bit of quarrel with my wife. So I may be coming with that tension. With that tension, I should not enter into the class. I should keep all those tension outside the school gate. In case I'm not able to do that, better take leave and stay at home. Because a teacher who enters the class with the tension, stress, and all these feelings, we too have a lot of problems. I do agree. But in front of the children, we have to be with an open mind, without tension, without stress. So we are now going to see some of the strategies that can be adopted in order to build a happy classroom. First thing, invest some time to get to know your students. That's very, very important. Whenever you are free, call a child, speak to that child openly. Even personal information you can collect. Where is your father working? Where is your mother working? And you speak to them. This will be like confidence building process. Actually, in my previous school, I'm speaking about some 23 years back. We had a teacher named Mr. Valsarajan. He is from Nilgiri. Mr. Valsarajan, if you call and ask about any student of that school, he will give full information about that child, very sharp memory. Now he is in United States of America, well-settled person. We used to be jealous of his memory. What he does, whenever he goes to substitution classes, he would speak to each child individually, personally, and collect information. And somehow he is able to keep everything in his memory. That may not be possible for all of us. But at least we must know about the children whom we are teaching. So you must spend some time to know about your students. Make an effort to know each and every one of your students. Not only will this allow students to feel comfortable in class, but will also help a teacher build a caring classroom community. The child should feel that this is my sir. That approach needed. I'll tell you one incident in my life. Actually, last year I went to one school in Vellore as a flying squad. And not last year, the term one exam. Term one exam, last two examinations, CBSE appointed flying squads. So I went to one school as flying squad. So I entered the school. The moment the office in charge, that person saw me, he made a remark. Actually, I went to that school in the previous year as an external examiner. So I developed a good relationship with them, even with the office staff. So moment they saw me, their remark was like this: our sir has come. So this feeling we should be able to develop among our children. Children should feel that this is our teacher. Same like my father, same like my mother. This person is also an important part of my life. This person is interested in me. That feeling we should develop. Say, in my case, if you say, over the last 31 years of my teaching career, I have punished the students several times. Of course, last few years, we stopped all kind of punishments. Last few years, we are not punishing any children. But some years back, we used to punish. But never a child complained about me to the principal. Never a parent came with a complaint, because I could build trust in them. A belief that this teacher is punishing me because this teacher is interested in my betterment. Of course, now I am not advocating you to punish. Now it is strictly banned, should not be done. But some years back, people used to do that. Teachers used to do that. So spend some time to know your students. Even they will gradually come and speak to you about their personal issues. Really some children are in lot of trouble. Parental problems will be there. Father and mother issues will be there. Parent not taking care of the child, that issue will be there. Some kind of exploitation may be there. Nowadays, many children are undergoing, even sexual harassment and all these problems. They don't speak to others actually because they don't trust people. So invest some time to know about your student. Use humor. Wherever possible, you use some funny story or some unforgettable experience. Relate the topic to real world situation to better engage the students. One example I will tell you, while teaching freedom of expression as a part of the fundamental rights, when I speak, I used to tell them the story of the Naked King. I think you all may be knowing the story of Naked King. I don't want to add the story now because that will eat away a lot of time. But by the end of that story, every child will be laughing, enjoying. So such stories, nice stories you can give. Or we studied a poem, Happy Man. That poem story I used to narrate. So connect it with your topic. Some real life situations you can say, some stories you can narrate. Spend some time to make your class humorous. Jokes can be said, but see that you don't cross the, limit. We have to be very, very careful, even when we crack the stories or when we joke or when we say the stories and all, See that it is suitable to the classroom atmosphere. We should not go away from that. So use humor, give praise. That's very important. Each and every one of us wants to get praised. Am I right? Even at this age, I'm telling you, after taking a class for the students of associate school or after a monthly meeting, Malika ma'am used to post the remarks by the teachers and the students about our class. So I'll be eagerly waiting. See, I am 53-year-old man. If a 53-year-old man is waiting for some kind of good words from others who attended the class, what about the small children? See, whatever little things they do, whatever small things they do, if we praise them, that will become a real moral booster for them. And they will start loving you. They will start obeying you. They will start respecting you. Say, for example, a child has done the homework in time. Normally, the child is not regular in doing the homework. But one particular day, the child has come with the homework. Praise him in front of others. Yes, well done. Now you have changed. You have become a very good child. Good job. These words will work wonder actually. Next day, when you give some homework or assignment, that child will be eager to complete it and come to you and get that praising words from you. So do not underestimate the power of praise. Children love to be told that they are awesome. It can be as simple as saying good job or an announcement to the rest of the class. Instead of highlighting what is wrong, do the opposite and have good behavior stand out. Students want that kind of attention and will work hard to get it. For example, in one examination, one low achiever succeeded in getting some pass mark. Praise him in front of others. Very good. You have done well. Excellent work. In this way, you proceed. You can go out of the you can come out of the examination with very high marks. Make such remarks. Your children will be very happy. So give praise wherever needed. Praise students immediately as soon as the behavior occurs. Don't think that next week I praise him. Suppose the child has done something good on the spot, immediately praise the child. Be specific about what they did right or almost right. Tell he has done this, say for example, he has completed his assignment. He has done it beautifully. Share your positive feelings about what they did, what the child has done, in what way it will help the child to improve in life. Encourage them to keep up the good work. So these praising words will do wonders. Your child will become happy and it will be a moral booster for your child. Suppose the child fails in the task given. Say the homework is not done. The assignment is not done. What should you do? Never scold the child in front of others. They will take it as a humiliation, insult. Children of modern days have a lot of ego. If you speak something in front of others, they will really feel humiliated and they can go to any extent that can put even the teacher in trouble. So describe the error or problem as soon as possible, clearly and without any blame. Call the child separately, not in front of others. Praising you should do in front of others. Praising you should do in front of others. But in case the child fails in the given task, call the child separately, not in front of other students, not in front of other teachers. Sometimes we used to call the child to the staff room. You will scold. By listening to that, the next math teacher will scold, science teacher will scold. The child will feel that he is completely humiliated by all the teachers. Never do that. Describe the error or problem as soon as possible. Tell him what error he has committed. Explain its negative impact. Tell him in what way it will affect his life. so that the child will come to know that the teacher is really interested in his betterment. If appropriate, take the responsibility for not making the task clear. For instance, I am so sorry, I did not communicate the instructions clearly. You can take a part of the blame. See, I feel you didn't do the assignment because I didn't properly communicate with you. Maybe some part of mistake is there from my side also. There may not be any mistake from your side, but tell it. It will do wonder. Go over the task in detail and make sure it is clearly understood. Express your continuing trust and confidence in the student. Tell the student, you are a good child, I know. You can do this. This time you failed, no problem. But try again. Next time you can achieve the task, or you can avoid this error or avoid this mistake. So speak all these things separately, not in front of others. So whenever you want to praise the child, praise in the middle of others. Whenever you want to tell the child about his shortcoming or about his fault or error, speak to him separately. He should never feel that he is insulted. Allow students to get social. Provide opportunities for students to interact with their peers. It will help promote a positive classroom environment. Talking about things other than schoolwork makes students happy. Give students a few minutes each day to communicate with their classmates. Some kind of discussion can be there in classroom. But that should not affect the neighboring classes. Earlier, the olden day concept was that a silent class is effective. But today things have changed. Some years back when the principal comes for rounds, if he finds that all the students are silent and teacher alone is speaking, the principal will be very happy. That teacher is a very efficient teacher, effective teacher, because children are silently listening to him. But today the concept has changed. If your students are silent throughout the period, you are not at all an effective teacher. Your students should speak. They should discuss. They should raise their points. That noise, it should not become noise, that's all. But talking inside the class about the topic or about some other important matters is always welcome. The principals of these days, they expect that. They don't want a silent class. I hope it is clear. So allow students to get social. Let them discuss. 45 minutes are there. Are you going to teach all the 45 minutes full duration? Never do that. At the most, teach only 30 minutes. 15 minutes can be used for talking something else. Something which is useful to the children. Something which is connected with their real life situations. You can even allow students to speak. Be a role model for your students. This is very, very important part. I already said about this. By seeing you, the child should understand what is happiness. You have to be with a smiling face. You should, radiate positive energy. The teacher should radiate positive energy. We may be tired, but that we should not show to the children. That's what a teacher has to be, an actor also. We will be in tension. We will be having a lot of, maybe it may be the 6th class that we are entering. We may be tired, but we should not show it to our students. We should exhibit positive energy. Make the content easy for the students to comprehend. Students will enjoy the class if they understand the content. Can you see the picture here? Please have a look at the picture and tell me what is your interpretation of the picture.
Mother bird
is feeding young one.
Mother bird is feeding the baby
young
bird.
one.
Can you just connect it with the teaching learning process?
We have to spoon feed.
No, it's not like spoon feeding.
So
Spoon
mother
feeding
bird
is not in
friends
that.
grinding food in his mouth with saliva, and then it will feed to the child.
Yes. Actually, yes. Actually, if a mother bird gets a hard grain, unfortunately, it is not grain in the picture. It's an insect. But if the mother bird gets a hard grain, what the mother bird does is, it would keep that grain in its mouth for some time, mixing with its saliva. So mother bird takes the grain into its mouth and mix it with the saliva and keep it in its mouth for some time, so that that hard grain gets softer. So after it becomes soft, the mother bird feeds it to the baby bird, so that the baby bird can take it in and it will get digested. So how do you connect it with the teaching?
Our teaching should be like this only, sir. But
according to the
concept should
need
be
of the student.
made it simple, and we need to give it to the children.
See, first important thing is we should understand thoroughly. Some teachers, they don't understand the concept. They go to the classroom. I'm not talking about DAV associates. I'm talking about some other teachers, not about any of you. Okay. So some teachers, what do they do? Social science book they will take to the classroom. They will read out. The teacher will be reading that paragraph for the first time. Teacher reads it out. Overconfidence will be there with the teacher. Goes to the classroom, read the paragraph. Word by word, the teacher will explain. There won't be any connection at all. And child understands nothing. So this happens, particularly in our subject. Because unfortunately, you know, the experts are very less in our subject. Getting a social science teacher, a good social science teacher, is a very difficult task. Frankly speaking, recently in our school, we gave advertisement for maths teacher and social science teacher. We got 25 applications for maths teacher. 25. It included 5 engineering graduates also. And we shortlisted some 15 people, called them for interview, demo class and all. And we have shortlisted some 5 people, and the HR interview is going on for those 5 people. This is about maths. About social science, we gave advertisement. We received only 2 applications. Only 2. So those 2, we selected one and sent for HR interview, but HR was not that happy. So I had to speak to the retiring teacher once again, request him to continue for 1 more year. So that's the condition actually. Social science, very difficult. Some schools, what happens, you know, even engineering graduates are handling social science. BTech person is handling social science in some schools. So what the teacher has to do is, you know, comprehend it. First, teacher should understand. Teacher should understand the lesson. For that, you have to prepare very well. You should prepare proper lesson plan. And you should go through the content again and again and again. Do some additional research work. Nowadays, you know, Google is there. You can collect some additional information and think about your life experiences, some stories or something which can be used in order to make that content easy for the child. Like the mother bird adds saliva to make it soft. You should add some stories. You should add some life experiences. You should add some jokes so that the children will feel that the content is easy. They will never say that social science is a difficult subject. But nowadays, you know, in many schools, we come across children speaking that social science is a dry subject, a difficult subject. Even some teachers go to the class and speak. See, history is a boring subject. Still, I will try to do my level best, as if the teacher is doing some charity. If history is a boring subject, the teacher is unfit to teach history. Correct, no? It's in teacher's hand to make the subject interesting or difficult or boring or dry or whatever it may be. If it is dry, you must make it wet. You must add water. You must add whatever needed. So add some stories, add some jokes, add some life experiences so that the concepts become easy for the child to comprehend. For example, while teaching judiciary, legislature and executive, three branches or three organs of government, I used to tell a story to the children. Shall I narrate it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In a village, they had a small temple. Almost every villages have temples. So in one village, there was a temple. And what happened, you know, some people were entering the temple by wearing footwear, which is against our tradition. So what happened, you know, the Gram Samiti or the people of that village. And in the meeting, this issue was discussed. They are entering into the temple and they are wearing the footwear. It goes against tradition. So what should be done? So then this Gram Sabha decided to pass a rule. They passed a rule and the rule was written. The rule was written like this. All those who come to the temple must leave their footwear outside the gate and enter the temple. So they passed this law. Let us take it as legislature. The law is made. That Gram Sabha is legislature. They made the law. What law did they make? All those who come to the temple
they should keep
must
their
leave their footwear outside the gate and enter the temple. So they gave this responsibility to temple committee. Temple had one 5-member committee, president, secretary, treasurer, committee members, and they were in charge of looking after the day-to-day affair. So what did they do? To implement this law passed by the Gram Sabha. So Gram Sabha made the rule, made the law. It is legislature. Then this 5-member committee, they are in charge of bringing this law into practice. So what did they do? They made a big board. In the board it is written, all those who come to the temple must leave their footwear outside the temple and enter the temple premises. The board was displayed outside the gate. Moreover, they appointed one security guard also to ensure that all those who are coming to the temple leave their footwear outside and come inside. So what happened? The security guard started standing outside with a stick in hand, and whenever he found somebody entering the temple by wearing the footwear, he asked them to leave the footwear outside. So who are they? This 5-member committee and this security guard, they are actually executive. Their duty is to implement the law passed by, the rule passed by the Gram Sabha. It is the legislature. One fine day, what happened? An old man from the nearby village, he came to the temple. He was about to enter the temple. Suddenly the security guard stopped him by using the stick. He said, "Hey, you stand there." Then the old man asked, "Why do you stop me?" "Leave the footwear outside, then enter the temple premises. You should leave the footwear outside before entering the temple." Smiled and he asked the security, "Are you a blind? Look at my feet. I'm not wearing any footwear at all. Then why do you ask me to leave the footwear outside? You are not wearing the footwear. It is none of my concern. You read the law. All those who come to the temple must leave their footwear outside and enter the temple. If you are not wearing the footwear, go to the nearby shop, purchase a pair of footwear, wear it and leave it outside, then enter." That is what the law speaks. said the security guard. Then the old man said, no, 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 you are wrong. You are interpreting the law in a wrong manner. Actually, the law says nobody should enter the temple by wearing the footwear. The security guard said, no, no, you read what is written. To come to the temple must leave footwear outside, then enter. So without leaving footwear outside, I cannot allow anybody to go inside the temple. Argument and counter argument started. Then it went to the Nyaya Panchayat. Of the Panchayat interpret the law and give judgment. So Nyaya Panchayat read this law and they interpreted the law, and the judge gave an order. See, the old man is right. The actual meaning of the law is that nobody should enter the temple premises by wearing footwear. So this forms our judiciary. So this is one example actually. In the form of a story. If you teach in the form of a story, the division of power between legislature, executive and judiciary, children will never forget it. Even after 10 years, 20 years, this story will stay in their mind. And whenever they want to differentiate the functions of legislature, executive and judiciary, the story will come to their mind and you also will come to their mind. My teacher said this story to me. So in the same way, any concept you can teach them with the help of stories, with the help of incidents, with the help of life experiences. Try to do that so that it becomes easy for the child to understand. And moreover, the child will never forget it. Anything more you want to add to the strategies that should be adopted to make a happy classroom? Let us have a quick recall. The first one, invest some time to know your students. That will help in building a personal rapport with your students. The students should feel that you are a part and parcel of their life. You are someone who is close to them, like their parents. Then, use humor wherever possible, Use humor inside the class, crack a joke, tell a funny story, or share an unforgettable experience. Always try to relate the textual content with the real life situations. Praise the child whenever and wherever possible. For every small good things which they do, praise them. Don't be a miser in praising others. In case the student fails in the task given, clearly explain to them the error which they committed, what negative effect it will have on their life, and shoulder a part of the responsibility for the failure. Shoulder a part of the responsibility. You can say, probably I might not have communicated properly with you. Okay. And reinforce your trust and confidence in the child. Do all these things privately, not in front of others. Always, when people find our fault and inform us privately, we will surely feel happy with them. Okay, I'm telling this from my own life experiences. Allow students to get social. Let them build good social relationships, positive relationships. Okay, be a role model for your students. You want your students happy? First, you be happy. And make them understand that you are a happy teacher. You are a stress-free teacher. You are an open-minded teacher. Make the content easy for the students to comprehend. This is what we explained, we discussed with the help of this picture. We should follow student-centric learning methods. That is another important thing. What do you mean by student-centric learning methods? Anybody? What do you actually mean by student-centric learning methods?
Methods which will help the students to learn from.
Of course. Anybody else?
Involving the students more, sir.
Yes. Students playing greater role than the teacher. The modern concept is that a teacher is a facilitator, learning facilitator. A good teacher is one who doesn't teach. A good teacher is one who doesn't teach, but help his students. How far it is possible, it's a question mark. It may not be 100% possible, but to some extent we. So what I am telling you, one of the biggest complaints which the other country people have about Indian teachers is that we teach too much. We always underestimate our students. We think that only if we repeatedly teach, our children will learn. In fact, we don't allow them to learn by themselves. Is it a good way of teaching?
Not at all.
Early, no.
No, like swimming.
Of course, we have limitations.
Yeah.
Within that limitations, whatever way possible, we should try to make a teaching learning process student-centric. Here I have given some of the methods which can be used for having a student-centric learning approach, teaching learning approach. One is project-based learning. Project can be even simple projects. I'm not talking about the 25-page project report which children have to submit for their internal mark. Generally, when we speak about the project, we think about that. They have to prepare a project report, spiral bound, 25 pages, something like that. Here, project-based learning does not include all those things, even smaller projects. For example, you want to teach them, see, atmospheric temperature. You can make them measure the temperature for a week and ask them to find out what variations are there in temperature over the week. Some kind of interest in the subject will be created. Okay. Or can you give me some other examples like for project-based learning?
Yes, sir. We are having that customs duties in history book.
Yeah.
Or abolition of custom duties. What project I used to give, find out the internal custom duties, what we are having. For example, spices, when we are taking from one state to another state, what is the custom duty? What all items having custom duty? What is the percentage of the amount what they want to give inside India?
Okay, fine.
So they can understand what happened there in France or Germany.
Yes. So some kind of activities, projects can be given.
Election, sir. For election, we can have projects.
Yes, we can conduct an election. Yes, we can conduct an election actually.
National leaders and the statues in and around their cities.
Yes.
They have to write down the names.
Yeah. They can even visit a local monument and prepare a report.
Yes.
And prepare a report on that. Say, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, you want your child to learn. The best way, you tell your child, see, imagine that the incident is happening now and you are a TV reporter. Okay. You prepare, you read it as a news item. They can make a short video. A TV reporter, suppose the incident has taken place now, or those days TV was there. Just imagine. Those days TV was not there. Just imagine the TV was there. As a TV reporter, how will you read out the news? The child can make a short video and send to you. Once the child makes such a video, the child will never forget it. Or for a newspaper, they can write a report. See, you are one of the person present there. You are a news reporter. For Hindu Daily, for example, you write a report. What had happened there? Write a report. So project-based learning, smaller projects, not very big projects and all, can be given to the children. That will create interest. And children will feel that they are also part of the learning process. It will make them happy. It will help them to learn the concepts without any stress or tension. Student can act as a teacher. You can give a topic to the child to teach. I used to tell my children, I used to give them a topic and ask them to teach on the next week or something like that. And I used to tell them to practice in front of the mirror. The child can teach in front of the mirror. So the child himself or herself can view how he or she deliver the lesson and make corrections. So student can act as a teacher. Remember, teachers, economics I learned properly only after I became an economics teacher. Of course, I studied economics till my post-graduation level, passed the examinations with somewhat okay marks, but I actually learned microeconomics, macroeconomics and all systematically, properly, only when I prepared to teach. Because I was, for the last several years, I was a social science teacher. Suddenly, school wanted me to take over economics. I was thinking, at that time, if they conducted a subject-related interview, they would have told me not to teach economics. Because at that time, I knew nothing. But 1 year of teaching, now I can tell that for 11 and 12 level economics, I have become an expert. So teaching is the best way to learn. I will tell you my own experience. When I was in my post-graduation, I had a friend, one Mr. Biju, his name is Biju. He actually joined MA Economics after completing BSc Mathematics. One quota is there for BSc Mathematics for MA Economics those days in our college. Out of the 12 seats available, 1 seat was for BSc people, BSc Mathematics. So this man, he didn't get it for MSc because his mark was not that high in BSc. So he joined MA Economics. And he was actively involved in student politics. He was college union chairman and all. So very rarely only he used to attend to the classes. So what happened, just before university examination, only 2 months for university exam. And those 2 months were given holidays, study holidays for us. So those 2 months, he came to me and he made a request. Krishna Kumar, I do not know anything in economics. Can you just help me? Can you just teach me? So daily morning, 2 months, 60 days, daily morning, he used to come to my house. And we both used to go to a mango garden and sit under the mango tree. And I used to teach him. So what happened, he passed with a somewhat okay mark. I too got some good marks. It became a very good opportunity for me also because next day he is coming. I have to teach him. So I will prepare. Night and all, I will sit and prepare to teach him next day. I will make the hints, important points and all. So next day when he comes, I will teach him. So all these points will enter into my mind and it will stay in my memory. So even today, I'm telling you, whenever I go to Kerala, this man used to come to my house immediately and hug me and take me to his house. So even now, after so many years, he keeps in his mind. He used to tell, I became a postgraduate only because of you. You are my teacher, he used to tell. So teaching is very, very effective actually. So student can act as a teacher. Some topics you can allot to students and make them teach. But that should not be a tool to complete the syllabus. Some teachers do that. They will allot some chapters to students and they will feel free. Okay, this lesson is over. The student has taught. No, you have to teach it. Your own way you have to explain. But give opportunities for your students also to teach. Okay, it doesn't mean that one chapter is taught by the student, so I won't touch it. Don't do that. Your responsibility doesn't end there. Then dramatization can be done. Say, drawbacks of the barter system. Even if you explain in 1,000 words, children will not understand it correctly. But you create a market. And these difficulties of barter system, like lack of double coincidence of wants, difficulty to store value, all those things, in the form of a skit, children can present it. You give this topic, they will prepare the script and they will present. They have the talents. or Jallianwala Bagh massacre can be recreated in the class, or Dandi March can be recreated. So in our subject, history particularly, there are many things which can be presented in the form of drama actually. So dramatization can be done. That gives some visual things actually for the children. See, anything which is stored in the form of visuals will always stay in our minds. It will not go away from our minds. So words and paragraphs and sentences can be converted into visuals. So dramatization can be adopted. It's a very good way. Role play. Child can do the role play actually. For example, you want to teach the bad effects of deforestation. Let a child come as a tree and speak to the others. The tree can speak to them in what are all different ways the tree is helping the society. And what will happen if the trees are destroyed? Or they can take up the role of a leader. Say a person can act as Alluri Sitaram Raju. And as Alluri Sitaram Raju speaks to the tribals, he can speak to the class members, or Baba Ramchandra, or Mahatma Gandhi. So role play can be done. Debates can be conducted. Always, social science, different views, different opinions, we always appreciate. On the same concepts, children can have different views. That is why always in examinations, social science examination, we cannot 100% stick on to marking scheme. Children will have different views, different opinions. So debates can be conducted where they can express different views. Discussions can be conducted. Quiz can be conducted. Storytelling can be there. I told you, try to present every concept, even tougher concepts, in the form of a story. Visualization, various games, IT tools, interactive teaching. Interactive teaching, I already told you, we call it Socraterian method. Questions, ask questions, let them find answers by themselves. So all these different student-centric learning methods, if we adopt, our class will become a happy classroom. Children will not feel bored. And even the teacher, suppose teacher is explaining something, try to be a performer. I used to wonder, after becoming principal, I even spoke to some teachers. Some teachers throughout the day, they sit in the classroom. Nothing wrong, after teaching half an hour, if you sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing wrong in it. But throughout the period, if a teacher teacher sits, do you think that the teacher can be an effective teacher? Better we can play audio recording. Correct, no? Audio recording you can play. The teacher should be a performer. Our body language, our voice modulation, our eye contact, everything is important. These all communicate with our students. These all help in, delivering or in passing on the information, the ideas from us to our students. So we need to be a performer actually. We have to be very active. If a teacher sits full day, full period, 40 minutes, reading out something from the textbook, telling the meaning of it, it's not teaching at all. Nowadays, audio books are available. Audio books are available. You can just play that. That is why, a robot can never replace. A robot can replace any other occupation. Any other robot can never replace a teacher. Machine learning and all gradually coming. People say that after some years, in the place of a teacher, a robot may be there taking the classes. But I strongly believe that it will never happen. a teacher's presence is needed. That we have already understood from our online classes. Am I right? Though we taught very effectively, only some children learned. We find a big difference between physical and online class. Am I right? Our voice modulation is important. What will happen if you teach in the same voice level? Can you tell me?
Lullaby for children.
Lullaby for this.
It will become lullaby.
They will sleep actually. You are right. Exactly, you are right. They will sleep in the class. I remember in my degree class, I had supplementary subject. I used to tell my friends to pinch me whenever the teacher is looking at me because I will be sleeping. Because she teaches well, but the voice will be going at the same level. That too, if it is an afternoon class gone, all will be sleeping. So teachers' voice modulation, teachers' way of walking in the class, the way in which we look at the student, our facial expression, all these communicate with the children. All these are important actually. Okay. Now we will just discuss some of the activities that can be carried out in social science to make the classroom a better classroom and a happy classroom. This is actually released by CBSE for lower classes, but some of these are applicable to us also. That is why I just wanted to show you. I'll share it in the group by this evening. Okay. See the making of the national movement. Collect and organize all the information about your favorite freedom fighter in the form of a biography. So children can prepare a biography of their favorite freedom fighter. Need not be about Gandhiji, Subhash Chandra Bose and all. No, even the lesser known people. They can prepare a biography of, Baba Ramchandra, or about Alluri Sitaram Raju, or even about, the Tamil Nadu people like, yes, Tirupur Kumaran, or Bharadiyar, Velutham Vidalava, yes, anyone national leader, their favorite leader. See, it is our responsibility to make the children understand the lesser known freedom fighters also. Everybody knows.
Yes, we should give it as a lot, sir. We have to select it because they won't do it. Only
we can select and give to them also.
Some to pick up the lot so that they can do it.
Yes. Now, as internet is there, collecting information is not at all a difficulty for them. Map work can be given. Okay. Imagine yourself a freedom fighter. Which method of protest would you use? Violence or non-violence? Justify. This can be a debate also. Am I right? A group can argue for violent freedom struggle. Another group can argue for non-violent freedom struggle. I used to ask a question like compare and contrast Germania and Bharat Mata. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between Germania and Bharat Mata?
Bharat Mata, calm and quiet and divine. Germania with the fighting mode.
Germania is like a warrior lady, am I right? Entering into the field with a sword in hand, ready to fight for the unification of Germany. Why Germania is portrayed as a warrior lady? Why is she portrayed as a fighter?
Portrayed as a?
Why is Germania portrayed as a fighter lady? Not as a motherly figure.
Germany wants to capture the whole world.
No. This is about
imperialism.
It's actually regarding German unification. And German unification was through violence, by voice. So Germania, their national figure, is portrayed as a fighter lady. But you take the case of Bharat Mata. Bharat Mata is like a sannyasini, very divine, very calm. Because Indian freedom struggle was a non-violent struggle, led by a sannyasi-like leader Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. So Bharat Mata actually represent the Indian freedom struggle. If Indian freedom struggle were to be a violent one, they would have portrayed Bharat Mata like, goddess Durga. Am I right? If it were a violent method of struggle, Bharat Mata could have been portrayed as goddess Durga. You know, she is coming with weapons in hand, ready to fight. But Bharat Mata is presented like a sannyasini, a divine figure, a calm figure. So that shows the nature of India's freedom struggle. Like interdisciplinary subject, activity also you can give. Suppose you are one of the 78 followers chosen by Gandhiji for the 241-mile walk from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Submit an interdisciplinary project under the following headings. In English, you can have a experiences, places you saw on the way. They can write a report actually. Paper. If the child in Hindi, the child can article about this Dandi March. Geography, chalk out a detailed route of the path taken by Gandhiji from Sabarmati to Dandi on a physical map of India on A3 sheet. On physical map of India, they can just draw the path taken by Gandhiji from Sabarmati to Dandi. Mathematics, calculate the distance that the group traveled per day, calculating the distance between different stations, speed, velocity, etc. So that will become mathematics. Science, describe the various flora, soil types, fauna, vegetation types that you came across on the way. So this becomes an interdisciplinary project. Child can do it as an interdisciplinary project. Nowadays, CBSE appreciates interdisciplinary projects actually. CBSE wants an integrated learning. India after independence, data collection, collecting newspaper articles on challenges that are still there right from independence of India. How do you think that these can be resolved? Debate can be conducted on the formation of linguistic states. Linguistic states as integrated India. Here, our freedom fighters in the beginning were reluctant to grant the linguistic states because they thought that that would lead to the disintegration of India. Identity based on language will strengthen and India will break up. But that did not happen. The formation of linguistic states actually strengthened India's integrity or unity. So a debate can be there on that. They have given several activities, connected with the geography, history and all. Some of these activities you can introduce that become part of our child-centered, teaching learning process and in converting our classroom into a happy classroom.